Greetings, hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Sofa Broker with myself, Solly Strickland, and Mr. Ronnie Barker, Mr. Daniel McPeake, just over there to my right-hand side, your left-hand side.
Such a funny guy.
Whatever you want to call it. And in the background, I must put a nod towards producer Stan, who sets all this up for us, and is...
AV guy.
AV guy.
Needs a haircut. AV guy.
That's a dad talking to his son, basically. Yeah, anyway, this is a family business, and talking of business, Daniel, I have a question for you.
Oh, straight to it. I like these ones.
I have a business question for you, because
I'm a bit worried.
Let's face it, you are a free man of 3-4 weeks now, in terms of your business life.
Bro, I was always free.
I know, but let's just say there are no company restraints around you, and as you know,
there's no like manger jar in
there is no manger jar, and Jean-Michel Jarre, manger jar, is also a very free man. And as you know, I have been young, free, and single in terms of my business for about 3 months now, maybe longer. Christ, it's been all summer.
Yeah, you just had the summer off.
Anyway, so what we have been doing is rather like a couple of modern day Dick Turpins.
I like that.
We have been...
I like that. Dick Turpin originally was from Loughton as you go up to Wakes Arms. That's where he used to run around. Yeah, and he had my mum, granddad... went to see a house once that allegedly was once a few houses that were used to shelter the horses by Dick Turpin, so he could get into Epping Forest, because it's literally on the edge into Epping Forest. And
didn't know you were that old.
Yeah, and so it's amazing when you think about areas and what's going on, the history that they have, because they tend to have really long histories. You know, we have, especially British, in England and all that kind of stuff. Jesus Christ, we go back a long way.
We do.
Yeah.
Anyway, as a couple of dandy highwaymen, we have been up and down the lengths and breadths of this country, and also into bonny Scotland as well.
We've met Black Bess.
We have met a lot of people in our industry, and it's been interesting, to say the least. And without saying who we've been speaking to, because that's obviously private, personal, whatever, I've got a question for you. And it's been sort of on my mind on the drive over here around the M25 into the Shire.
Well, that's
and that question is, are self-employed real estate brokers in this American model, shall we say, are they making any money?
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
Should we end it there?
If there was another successful podcast that's out there, it starts with this bit.
Please comment below.
Yeah, and then there's us and we zooming into each other. But we're not like that, because we're slightly more cool. So do we do that? Well, we have been on a roulette wheel of a journey when we've been trying to hit the right side, right? Red or black. We would just to get that side would be enough. So is the American model, are people making money from the American model? No. I don't think the American model, as it stands, if we was in the States, works in the UK.
Okay.
It collapses the minute it goes over the Atlantic and pops into Blighty.
And I should add that you and myself are in we're in a fairly unique position to be commenting on this.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that, in the States they do it in a certain way and they make a lot of money out of it, and they're very, very good at it. We've had quite a few models pop up in the UK, and there is people inside these models that are making money out of it. Yeah. How many people would you think, because we don't know, so this is only a guess, I genuinely believe that there is less than 300 current agents that could also walk onto the high street, could also walk out and be successful American model type agency. I already think the American type of agency has morphed into something that's becoming more British. There is a greater understanding of people that want Americanisation, and what that basically means is self-employed, right?
Yeah, under an umbrella, but self-employed.
Yeah, self-employed.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, that sees it, the American model, 6%, yeah, for a start. What is it in the UK? 1.5%.
So our previous podcast was talking about young entrepreneurial spirit getting into this industry, aka a side hustle.
Yeah.
Right? You can side hustle at 6%. You can't side hustle at 1%.
You can't drop ship, right? You can't go online and drop ship something. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. What it's done is it's opened up the way. It's shown the way. It's shown that this is possible. There are, before that, there's a couple of franchises running around at the moment that have been around forever. And them, they've all not gained enough traction.
So a lot of my mates, and they come from a fairly, I'd say, old-fashioned perspective. No. In terms of what they think agency should be, or how they perceive it to be, whether they're in the industry and are stuck in the industry, or they're just looking from the outside in, or have left it, shall we say, before this revolution that's happened, which we've obviously been a big part of. And to a man and woman, and I don't know if they're right or wrong, and there's, you've touched on it just there, and they're saying, is it too American? Oh, I think it's too American, all that kind of stuff. And I think what they're alluding to is people maybe trying to be glamorous alongside being an estate agent. And in this country, maybe that's not allowed. Now, I disagree with that, because I think you should just be who you are and use who you are to
use your personality
in any business. So do you think it is a kickback? Because, in many other aspects of life, whether it's fashion or music in particular, films, we love American culture. I love American culture. I love going there. I wear baseball caps and, all that kind of stuff. Most of the bands I like are American. So for me, I'm not coming from for me, the American side of it is not such an issue, but I can see why it might be. What do you think about that?
You're right about that. This is the way I see it, and I've been involved in it and around it a lot now. It's a case of the American model is pushing itself on the UK, and I mean pushing, right? We don't typically buy American cars, but we like them, right? We've always looked at them. We're going car shows and we look at them and we think that's great. Do we need a 6-litre V8 car to, roll around?
Yes.
Romford in? We don't. Because
Romford, definitely.
We don't, because we don't buy them. We don't buy them. Ford, American brand, changes what it's doing when it delivers in the UK. But it knows its brand, right? And that there exists the problem. The agencies starting up in the States that are coming over here, come over here with that, of course you'll buy a Pontiac. You know what I mean? Of course you'll buy this. Why wouldn't you? We've been selling them for 50 years. There's no reason why you shouldn't. Of course, I don't even know if Chrysler's a good car, but of course you'll buy a Chrysler. They haven't, have they? They've took out a few of them, but they haven't really gone far, right? What Buick? This kind of thing. It's the same thing. It takes them a while. I'm sure that McDonald's sold drive-thrus ages before even the first one, which I think the first one was in Gants Hill. I think so. I remember going there in a car. So I had a car then.
Well, you had to. It was a drive-through.
Well, yeah. So that type of thing takes forever. And I think First of all, the main thing that they've got, they got 6%, right? If we had 6% over here, the world would be different, okay? But we probably have the lowest amount of fees, I think, in the world, in the UK.
We've got the best properties and the worst fees. Go figure.
And figure that out. Loads of people, want to be a successful estate agent, and they probably do that by picking up someone on the high street, right, and starting there and going through it, because there's a lot of groundwork you need to do. There's a lot of stuff you got to do first. So if you can just pop up and be an Americanized agent, I think that's tough. I do think, though, however, point in case, it's evolved into a British way of selling, and a British self-employed model is actually going to make a difference. Let me ask you, how many self-employed agents do you know that are earning over 150 grand a year?
A few, but they would be ones who have already been in the industry, so they predate the American brands, the American style, shall we say. Probably predate the social media as part of the branding. So, yeah, there are loads, and that was the point I was going to make myself, actually, about there are loads out there making really good money as self-employed agents, but they were probably doing it before. They were probably just doing it through their own network, and they're probably not attached to an umbrella company, whether it's American or English. Well, obviously most of them are American on sort of global ones, but they are out there, but you don't hear about them. All of my mates that make good money as agents, and we were like this before when we made our best money, shall we say?
Yeah,
we weren't attached to anything other than ourselves, and we only had a company name because we had to have a company name, because you've got to have a company name. But there was, that we were self-employed, but there was no umbrella company. There was no right. We didn't even have Rightmove.
I mean, we didn't get Rightmove when it was available as well, because we decided to go against it because of the branding.
We didn't need it.
Yeah, we didn't need it. If Rightmove didn't exist, let me just pay this back to you. Yeah. If Rightmove wouldn't allow you to be self-employed, would people bother being self-employed agents? Does Rightmove and make people think they can be a self-employed agent? And is it been made so easy by people? Just sign up, pay 100 quid, 200 quid a month, whatever it is. You can be a self-employed agent. Danger. Do you know what I mean? But that people are believing that, right?
To answer your question, I think yes, because I think there's a generation of people that think that whilst Rightmove is fantastic, their main purpose in life is to get the property. That's why we see so many. This is a bit of a bête noire of mine, is the celebration of taking on a property.
Oh, listing.
It's your flipping job to take on a property. You don't celebrate. By all means, if you do a great sale and you've done a great job for your client, and the really agenty I know, shoot me if you want, but celebrate success. That's fantastic. Success is not taking on a property.
No,
by all means, list it, advertise it, market it, all of those things, whether that includes Rightmove or whatever. But that's not a point of success. But that's just me being me. The other thing is that I do believe that as a generation, the new generation of agent, which I love and I'm all for, and that's why I've spent the last 10 years of my life trying to bring people through. And again, the reason why we're sitting on the Sofa Broker podcast here is the belief that if Rightmove doesn't work, then Instagram and TikTok will do the job for me. So this whole thing of lead gen has become massive. Getting the property on has become massive. That's fantastic, but that's only a part of it.
Yeah, that's what people are now saying. Listing, and they've changed their way. So the Americanisation has crept.
On that note, it really has. So I was with a bunch of Savills guys the other day. Really good bunch of lads actually. And you wouldn't normally picture
Savills.
You wouldn't picture me normally with guys from
Was
Savills.
you at the cricket?
I was at Lord's. Yeah, I was at the home
of course you
cricket.
was, yeah.
And
ticket paid for.
We got chatting after a few light ales, and they were all. Everyone was, people come over, start chatting, and the guys at Savills were saying, the answer is, "What do you do?" They were saying, "I'm in real estate," and at first I was quite. I don't know why, but I was shocked because it's a word I've used so many millions of times over the last few years with you. But there is still this thing between being in real estate and being in property, a listing, an evaluation, all of that kind of stuff, instructions, and
There's the difference. This is why I see it going, right? The Americanisation.
Does it make you a better agent just because you're using American words?
No, but it has crept into American words, which have, made it feel more sparkly and pretty and beautiful. So we're using the word listing. We're using the word real estate more, right? I mean, I struggle to see, is there really any real estate in the UK? But there's this whole thing.
It's really inner state.
Yeah, there's this whole thing, right, that's moved in. And so the movement of that across the Atlantic over here has been good, right? Because it's encouraged people, and as many people that have done it that, are making it, is because there was already agents. So they've been able to step up and earn good money to take them out of the high street, and they're earning, they're in a great situation, and they're doing the hours that they want to do, and they're having time with their kids, and they're using it that way, right? But they are a dying breed. Okay, because all that's happening is they're now being shopped around by everybody. So everyone's chasing them and they're shopping around. What is going to happen, and what we've been trying to do, is we need to bring through real estate agents. We need to bury estate agency. Okay, the real estate agents are the way forward, and they need to be spoken to. And it's very, very easy to just mark the difference with what you said. If you haven't got Rightmove, and you don't know how to sell a property because you haven't got Rightmove, have you got the ability to use all the stuff, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, to market yourself? I.e., can you still market yourself? If you can't, go work on the high street, be an estate agent. If you can, be a real estate agent, because you will make a bloody lot more money doing it, but have the stickiness, have the credibility, and have the gumption to actually look at yourself and say, if no one sends me a valuation via Rightmove, or no one calls me up for a viewing via Rightmove, can I still do it? Because I'm telling you, my good friend, my blessed friend, my cricket-loving pal,
right, Mr. Church,
right, you will get, good nod, you will get no valuations from Rightmove unless you get yourself out there. And now we're in a world with getting yourself out there. If anything that's available is coming from younger people, they know how to use this technology and tech that we joke about, and I joke about you a lot, that you don't understand. I don't even understand where we're going. They do. They're able to monetize that. And it's that monetization, that forward thinking, that brilliance makes them real estate agent. We're on a journey.
I think it's plateaued, and something needs to happen now for it to move on. Because we've been in a right muddle up and down the country. We've spoken to a lot of really nice people, but the businesses they've either reached the top and they can't go anywhere, or they're really struggling because they are so associated with being an American model or company or whatever it might be. So there's a real mess out there, which of course means opportunity. But I'm going to say something here, and the thought came to me when I saw the guys that bought my beloved football team, Charlton Athletic. They were being interviewed the other day, and the guys said, we bought Charlton for peanuts because of their academy. It always brings through young people. And it got me thinking, they weren't buying it because of the football club or to sell burgers or tickets or for footballing reasons. They were buying it because of people. And I think what the Americanisation of the real estate business in the UK has done is it's made people, otherwise known as brokers, the commodity and not the property. So people are just trading people all day long, and that's what's happening. And I think that's really worrying, really, really worrying, because if the business owners are just thinking about people and not thinking about property, they're not thinking about clients, then the likes of Savills and like all the well-established companies and the agents that have been on the high street forever, they will win the day, because they will continue to do that, and they will do it unapologetically. So I think we've got to get ourselves slightly out of this whole selling people, trading people, and be a little and work on that aspect of it. I'm not saying we particularly, but I think the industry in the sector needs to look at that.
I totally agree. It is, the children of the future. as someone greatly said, and it's that changes it. It's their understanding of the future changes it, and that's where you become a real estate agent. So it hasn't started off thinking Americanization has damaged what we wanted to do. It's pushed it forward, but it has reached the point where it's done its job.
Yeah, it's shaken it up.
Yeah,
now something has to happen.
It's done its job, and now these young guys and girls that are getting involved, that are talking to people like us and other people and learning experiences around it, are carrying the torch better in a massively more inclusive way in terms of social media as a whole.
Yeah.
And that's where the future lies. It doesn't lie relying on Rightmove, and it doesn't lie relying on saying, "Oh, I've just listed this thing." It relies on a sale.
Yeah,
Mate.
It really does. I agree. And I think what's interesting is it's people like you and I will be a guiding force, hopefully. But it's the people that maybe we brought through at the beginning who are now starting to see, and it takes time, the fruits of their labour and sticking with it and not doing a side hustle, but actually doing it. We've seen a handful of people now very recently who we brought through quite a long time ago starting to really, do deals. They've stopped celebrating.
Accelerate, yeah.
They've accelerated. And they now need to look at what they've done, and they need to share that. They can't just take everything and keep selling and doing all that stuff. They've got to do that with other people. Otherwise, again, it will just plateau again.
And there you go. So that's how you move from estate agency to real estate. And that's the future
and
for us.
And being a business owner within it, yeah.
And that's the future for us. So thank you for listening. As again, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, subscribe, like, do all the other stuff that Stanley tells me we have to do. See you next time.